fumes of the ashes, the spirits light up the night, looking down the edge of forever. So stop me and take my advice.
Hey,
guess what I just did?
what?
I took my Christmas wreath down. I just noticed it was on the front door.
Oh, come on.
It was still blinking, battery powered, swear to God. Put it out in, like the first part of December. It was still blinking. That's how efficient LED lights are.
Oh,
two
incredible.
two D-cell batteries. Still going. I was like, whoa.
Could have been Christmas in July.
I know. It's just funny. I mean, I was going through the garage. I never used the front door. So there you go. Anyhow, there's so many people that leave their Christmas lights on all year. They never take them down. And I'll say, hey, how come you got your Christmas lights still up on ahead of schedule? So there you go. So anyhow, thank you to everybody. I couldn't get all the invites. Normally I send out quite a few personal invites. I couldn't do many tonight. So I apologize to anybody that didn't get their invite that they normally would invite to one of these live events. But tonight we're going to have, there's actually 10 people, I believe, involved, right? It's about 10.
Including us, 10. So we got 8 people.
There's 10 without us.
We got 8 people coming on.
8?
8.
Okay, I think there's more.
Whatever. 8 plus people I don't know about.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing it's kind of an Untold Radio early spring special. We're going to do 2 episodes back to back. They're going to have a 15-minute intermission so we can all eat or get a snack or whatever. And then we're going to go live again. So it'll be kind of interesting.
Yes.
Should be real interesting. Wonder all the things that might go wrong tonight. But so we're going to dig deep into the Mount St. Helens area on Bigfoot, new witnesses, new evidence, new recordings, all sorts of new stuff. So there'll be a lot of new information. And it's a place where I've had numerous encounters. I've had rocks thrown at me. I've been growled at out there. I've been out there with people that were growled at that left, got in the rental car and said, I'm leaving. I'm not staying out here anymore. It's where the Skookum body cast was gotten. And this is the giant area around the Mount St. Helens that includes the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest. So it should be a cool show.
Yeah, it should be incredible.
It really should. So don't miss it. Stick around. If you have to leave, you can always pop back in again. Check us out. Okay, what do we got going on here? I've had a crazy day today. Blah 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 blah. Oh, so I want to thank David Ellis for helping put a good portion of this together.
Yeah, David.
He knew a lot of the contacts. I had some, but he knew, he worked his butt off helping produce this show. So we want to thank David. I've also been a very pushy publisher because David's working on a new book called Unknown Sounds,
which is going to be very cool, very exciting.
Yeah, with our IBT technology, where there'll be like the actual recorded sounds, breakdown spectrograms in the book, so you can hear what you're reading about. So it should be pretty cool. But I've been pushing David every day. I kind of like, David, did you work on your book today? Yeah, I did. Thank you. Goodbye. So I've been pushing him.
Cute.
Trying to get him so he gets it done by May. So it comes out in May, before Memorial Day weekend, because we're going to all be at a conference.
Oh yeah, that'll be great.
Be a nice time to debut it. Okay. Oh, by the way, I've been getting off the purple junk.
Oh yeah.
I'm a purple junk addict, and I went to the dark side with it. Now I'm trying to go to the light. Steer clear. I haven't had purple junk in 2 days.
Wow, how do you feel?
I don't know. No different.
No different.
No. It just can't be good for you, right? It's so good.
I know.
It is so good. In fact, I'm going to take one of my handy little lightweight plastic cups So last time I was going to put a quick picture up of my new granddaughter, Esme Grace, and she's now 14 days old. Isn't she a doll?
Oh yeah, look at her.
It's for a 14-day-old kid. I mean, she'll sit there and try to mimic you. Like if I make a face, she'll do a face. Look at this kid. She's just gorgeous. She's just tons of personality. Exciting. It's my new love.
She's so cute.
Yeah, she is. But you remember we were going to put it up last week. We kept teasing you about your staring in your eyes. And
Yeah.
oh, there we go. So now I can't see what you're looking at. Take those damn things up. Okay. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about a few news clips that I thought were really interesting. One, apparently they just finally discovered, we always thought the Earth's core was liquid. It's what we were taught. They found out it is solid, absolutely solid. Had you heard this?
No, I didn't know that. It's solid.
Solid. It is 450 miles wide. So it's not very big.
No,
but it's as hard as a rock, and it's apparently a nickel and something else. So the innermost core is solid. And so apparently they had equipment to measure it during that last the earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria. So that's where they got the thing. And apparently it was like banging in there.
It was banging?
Like a ping pong ball. Huh?
Like a ping pong ball is banging?
Yeah, kind of like our brains. Ping ponging around. So, anyhow, I just thought it was cool. So enough of that crap. Astronomers just found 12 more moons orbiting Jupiter.
12 moons?
That doesn't make sense. How do you just
I know. How do you miss them at that point?
Yeah, how do you miss them in this day and age with, the Hubble and all these crazy advanced telescopes we have?
There's more mysteries than we think.
12 more.
12
Maybe
more.
we have 12. Maybe the Earth has got a bunch we've missed.
They're all invisible.
Could be. Well, maybe they're hiding behind, see? They're lined up. It could happen.
Yeah.
Think about it. It could. That's probably what's happening. So apparently, the planet Jupiter is famed for its immense size. It's a big planet for its immense size. It's 43,000 miles in circumference. So it's 11 times wider than Earth. So it's cool. And there's that giant red spot, the storm everybody talks about.
The storm?
On Jupiter, the big red dot. That's
around. The storm on Jupiter.
Yeah, it's been raging apparently for hundreds of years.
Hundreds?
Hundreds. Could you imagine if we had a storm like in the Atlantic Ocean that raged on for 100 years? Could you imagine?
Yeah. Then we're complaining about a snowstorm.
Yeah, exactly. Could happen, right? It could happen.
It could.
Anything could happen. I believe anything could happen. So, okay, what else? So enough of that crap. There was some really interesting fact that I found. There, god dang it. You know what? And this is my old list because I updated it. It never came in. Yep, it never came in, so I don't have my new list. But there is something that I was gonna ask you. It's called epigeome. Have you ever heard of the epigeome?
Is that like the Genome Project?
No. What it is? It's in our body. Everybody has them.
I'm not aware.
Okay, it's what winds our DNA around each cell.
Winds our DNA.
Yeah, it's wound around in kind of a Fibonacci sequence in some ways, like a zipper and a tight zipper. So it's down to 1/1000th of a micron.
1/1000th of a micron.
But each cell has got a meter of DNA. So picture a thread coming out of every one of your cells. That's about 3 feet long. Okay. Weird. And you have 30. Well, try to guess how many cells do you have in your body, Alex? What do you think?
3 trillion cells.
30 trillion. Each of us has
wow,
30
not even
trillion
close.
cells.
30
So
trillion.
that's, by the way, that's how much we're in debt, this country. 30 trillion, 31 trillion.
So it's just a person.
Basically, it's a person. Every cell, there's $1 for every cell in your body.
Wow.
Okay, but here's where it gets interesting. If you take each cell and stretch it out, right, the DNA strand, your camera locked up, anyhow. If you stretched every cell with the DNA strand and then put them end to end, how far do you think it would go? So the reason I bring it up, it will give you a sense of everybody listening, how big they really are. So what do you think about that?
Around the Earth 3 times.
It will go to Jupiter 100. Oh no, oh God, I can't remember. It's 11 times.
11
Jupiter and
times.
back 11 times. Yeah. So your human body has enough mass, cells, just cells in the DNA strands, to physically touch, go to Jupiter, back and forth. It might even be 100. I can't remember. I lost my notes.
What about if you're more robust?
Well, then it could go probably, 120 times. But isn't that crazy to think about how big we are? That's big.
That's huge.
It's actually mind-blowing. It's kind of life-changing. It's one of those little facts. If you really think about it, it's life-changing.
Makes you feel bigger, stronger.
Yeah, bigger and stronger. Yeah, that's cool. Anyhow, so that, I think that's really all I had in the news. Let's go to some clips, and then we'll get on with our Mount St. Helens show. So because my notes didn't come in to the new email program that you installed, I have to see the clip to tell you what it is. I think the first one is a gorilla walking, but I thought it was kind of cool. I've seen quite a few clips of gorillas walking, but this one I thought would get everybody in the mood for our show tonight because it reminds you of a Bigfoot. You just think about how strong they are.
That is huge. He is buffed out.
He's a big dude. Yeah, he's buffed out. But picture that in the woods.
Yeah, maybe a lot bigger than that too.
Oh yeah, taller. But look at the muscles and the legs, the short legs.
He's roided out.
Just thought it would put us in the mood. This is what. If you see something like this in the forest, it's gonna be life changing.
Oh yeah.
And then picture it 8 foot tall.
So how tall is like a gorilla like that?
That gorilla's probably doing 6 foot.
6 foot. And what do they think Bigfoot are, like around 8 feet?
Oh, they can go up to 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot.
9 foot. Oof.
Yep. You've got 9 foot ceilings in your house, so just look up, and it's probably an average male Bigfoot.
That is incredible.
So let's go to clip 2. I got to see it before I can talk about it. Oh, this is interesting. Stop it right here. Just freeze it. Freeze this. Okay, this really shows how tough nature is. But there's something wrong with this footage, and I want to give a book away to the person who can figure out what is wrong with this footage. It's freaky footage to begin with. It is real, but there's something wrong with it. So go ahead and play it. You can loop it or play it. I think the sound is fine in this too. Maybe not.
That lion is getting owned.
Pardon?
That lion is getting destroyed.
Yeah, I know, but what's wrong with the footage? Are you noticing anything wrong? Look how stiff the lion looks. He's real.
It looks like he was playing dead.
Nope, that's not what's wrong. It's a tough one to figure out. It took me a while. I knew something was wrong with it. Something extremely wrong.
What am I missing?
Well, I wanted to give away a book to somebody who guesses it. Play it. I mean, you
think,
gotta play
guys?
it. They can't figure it out unless you're playing it. Do it one or twice more. John Air says it's sped up. Nope, it's not. Nope, it's real speed. It's kind of a forensic mystery, this one. But just notice how unnatural the line is. How stiff he is. Like cardboard.
I think I know.
What?
CGI.
No.
No,
Not CGI. No.
Wrong again.
All right, well, we'll have to figure out something else. Nobody guessed it. It is backwards. They're running the footage backwards.
They're running it backwards.
It's all backwards, yeah. Yep. That's what's wrong with it.
That is bizarre.
Oh, Pat Collins. Now, dang it. 7:22. What time is it? Oh, he did get it. So, Pat Collins, you want a book. Just get Alex your email and go to Hangar One website. Pick out whatever book you want.
Okay. Yeah, Pat, please email me at alex@untoldradioam.com.
Yep.
And I put that in the chat. So
Yep. Cool. So, good job, Pat. That takes, it's kind of a weird look. So let's do the next clip here. What clip are we on?
We are on clip 4.
Play the clip so I know what we're playing.
Okay, let me pull that up.
Oh, this was just another clip to get us all in the mood because I cannot put a straw in a juice box this quick. Can you? I mean, that was quick. Think of just how human he looks. Isn't that crazy?
Someone gift him that?
No, I'm talking about how human he looks.
Yeah, I know, but
Bigfooty.
I'm just saying, if you gift a Bigfoot a juice box, maybe he's
whipping
that straw out just
that's
the same
true.
way.
That is true. So next clip.
All right, what is it?
I don't know. It's a mystery clip.
Let's see here. All right, I got it.
Oh, giant anteater. I just thought, God, he's so friendly. Like they have these massive claws in front. And I looked it up, and again, I was curious how big he is. They get up to 7. This is a small one. They get up to 7 foot long.
7 foot.
And 110 pounds. Yeah, they get really quite big.
That's
South American giant anteater. They eat like 32,000 ants a day.
And I imagine they're all pretty friendly.
But I was amazed at how intelligent it seemed. It stood up to be held, and I was just like, damn, it's intelligent for something that just eats ants. You're eating an ant, Alex?
Well, I'm not going to admit to that publicly.
Chocolate-covered ants? I have. I've tried them. They taste like watermelon to me.
Watermelon?
Watermelon, yeah. I swear to God, they have like a watermelon flavor. Anyhow, okay. So, this moose is just so wicked. There's this girl walking, this moose. You can put the volume up on this for sure.
Get up! Go!
Yeah, you'll notice it in the next clip.
Going!
There's a woman walking.
You guys, this moose is chasing this person. Go, love.
This isn't a city.
Hey!
Oh,
Watch
just,
out! Watch out!
just bam, just hoofed her in the head.
Get up!
God, that would be the most unexpected thing that could ever have happened to you in the city, wouldn't it?
Get going!
Yeah, it's got to be up there.
That's the stuff I think about when I take my garbage out in the middle of the night. 2
Yeah.
in the morning.
Are you going to be chased by a moose?
Am I going to have a moose just come out and hoof me in the head? Yeah. It's my vivid imagination. Okay. Next clip. Oh, it's freeze it. This is freaky and cute all at the same time. She has a chipmunk stuck and buried in her hair. So go ahead and play it. Creepy, but cute. This chipmunk Obviously, just chill. He's just all chilling. And just so you know, a chipmunk is one of the only animals you can tame as an adult. Did you know that, Alex?
No, you can tame it after the
You
fact.
can tame an adult chipmunk as an adult. This poor thing.
Oh,
It's so calm. Just chill. But could you imagine having a rodent tangled up in your hair?
This is why I'm not growing my hair out.
Yeah, and the girl, I think it was a girl that was so calm about it. If I had a rodent stuck in my hair, it wouldn't be good.
I'm gonna have to take your hair down.
There's a squirrel in her hair.
There's a squirrel in her hair. Just crazy. Okay, enough of that crap. So this is just interesting imagery. That's all this is. I do a lot of this. I've got a really cool microscope and I can get images like this, and I often do, and it's always kind of weird.
To see what something looks like.
Yeah, just to see what something looks like really close. See, when I was a kid, Alex, your grandfather instilled in me that big goes on forever and small goes on forever. So think about any of these objects or creatures, everything goes on forever tiny. It never quits. Did you ever think about that? There's actual whole universes inside all of us. In every object, there's an entire universe as great and grand as the universe we live in.
It just never ends.
It never ends. It cannot end. Small can never end.
So we just get more and more powerful microscopes.
Yeah. So I was, a 5-year-old kid sitting on the front porch, and I remember my dad telling me this and explaining this. That really opened my mind up. I thought, oh my God. Because when you think about it in the small end, that you can just go in, eventually you'd have vast space differences and then more subatomic particles in the subatomics and it never is going to end. God knows. There's got to be, I even think there's probably intelligent life. Just keeps going smaller and smaller. So there you go. Is there another clip or are we done?
Yeah, we got 2 more.
2 more. Let them rip. This is a coon Maine cat. And I thought, damn, just nope on this cat. If I came home and saw this cat in my kitchen, I'd freak. Just look at the look this thing. Look at this thing. Looks like the devil incarnate.
That thing would eat you.
Yeah, and they're one of the earliest American cat breeds from Maine.
Aren't these things?
It's called a Maine Coon cat.
Yeah, don't they get
and they're not all this sinister looking. Trust me, there's a lot of cute ones. This one just happens to look really sinister because of the contrasting hair, and it's obviously an older cat, and it's just horrid. Can you imagine coming home and seeing that thing staring at you? I know,
it's old and cynical.
Yep. It's kind of like the cat. Blaine didn't Blaine's cat attack you constantly?
Blaine's cat,
fat cat.
Once he gets to know you and he gets bored of you, then he stops trying to kill you.
But he did for a while, didn't he? Tried to kill you.
Yeah. Well, I may have over-exaggerated a bit, but not by much.
Okay, so this next clip shows just really how tough nature is. So he's got this deer leg, right? Hoof, everything. Calls his eagle. This is in Russia. You can turn the volume up. Now, imagine swallowing that whole.
The whole bone?
Yeah, and that's just like a normal food.
What? That can't be good.
If you did that and you ate that, you couldn't be able to bend over for a month.
Yeah.
Just think about how tough. This is where my respect for all animals comes in. The things they do to survive, the things they eat, they're so unpicky. They're so humble.
All right, what does everyone think? If I'm able to do this, would Doug respect me?
No.
That whole bone, one gulp.
It's just terrible. Okay, we're done with the clips, right? What time is it? Perfect time, too. Perfect time. So I don't know if you've got people.
Yes.
I know Tate was in chat. Tate has to go in and get into the back room and enter the
Kate's in the
studio.
back room. We got David and Tristan.
Right. So let me kind of introduce these guys. No, I can't. Oh my God, because everything is in my other notes. I should almost go back and send my notes back over. I really should.
Why don't we have them on and they can give
let
a
them
short...
explain who they are.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll forgive me. It's been a day. This is the very how should we put David? Cunning, smart, nice David Ellis.
The mastermind behind tonight.
We don't hear you, David. You got to unmute your mic, dude.
How about now?
There you go.
Perfect.
The sound guy.
I think you got one. Nice. I've been heard.
Okay, we have a delay, obviously, but the sound guy's got his mic muted. Perfect.
That'd be me.
Yeah. So David, do you want to just really brief, because we're going to have a really packed night tonight?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I'm born and raised here in Washington. Went to the University of Washington, got a degree in psychology, got married, had a family, two kids. One is a PhD doctor teaching at Miami University of Ohio. The other one is in management. And I'm retired. So I've been doing the Bigfoot thing since, 2006, and started recording in 2007. So we'll get into some of the other stuff that I've done as the story goes on.
Yeah, and you've been collecting audio recordings, analyzing them. You've got what, 8,500 recordings?
Oh yeah, I counted 10,000 at one time, and some of them are repeats. So I conservatively go down to about 8,500 clips.
And have you heard that dog? That dog is like as big as
Rex.
it sounds.
Yeah, of course he starts barking when the show comes on. He's been perfect up until now, but I can go corral him if you want to talk to somebody else.
Yeah, you can go throw one of those big giant Flintstone bones at him.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. I would never buy a dog that big ever.
I mean, they keep you warm, they protect you,
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, ask David how his dog pulled him down the steps.
Oh, and then there's that.
Yeah, and then there's that, and broke his hip or some damn thing. Oh, thanks.
Well, what are friends for?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and can we get Tristan on? Oh, we got Tate. Okay.
Hey guys,
Tristan.
Hey.
There we go.
What's up?
Hey,
What's up,
how are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, no, it'll be cool. So Tristan shared some audio with me from the Mount St. Helens area, and it blew my mind. I mean, literally, I thought it was maybe the best audio I've ever heard. So congratulations on the capture.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're going to put you on the map tonight with your audio. It's pretty neat.
Right on.
So were you with him? The night he recorded that audio, Tate?
I was not. No, I
You
wish.
weren't, but
No.
you've been out there with him.
I've been out there with him. That was this past summer, actually.
Okay. Did you guys record any audio?
I didn't, but I think Tristan, you might have. You were in another camp.
Yeah, I did record some audio, but the audio quality, or what I captured, wasn't. I didn't think it was good to play for the podcast.
Okay.
But earlier recordings from the previous years were what I wanted to focus on. But I did capture some strange stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
We couldn't hear it in person. We only captured on the audio recorder. When I was with Tate and the other guys. So I think there's still activity going on up there for sure.
Oh God, yes. Yeah. It's never ending, in that area. It's so vast.
Right.
People, Tristan, why don't you describe the area? I mean, the whole area of Mount St. Helens, the base of Mount St. Helens, it's insane.
Well, the area where we've been going and we've been capturing audio is pretty high up in elevation, about 3,000 foot or so. And yeah, it's the whole Mount St. Helens area is surrounded by forests, rivers and water. And a lot of high cliffs and mountains. It's a very remote area, and it's definitely perfect habitat for these guys to live in. Not to mention, you got a whole abundance of elk, deer, and they even got bear, cougar. I mean, they got all the wildlife that you can think of practically there. So it's perfect food and water source for them. And
Yep.
and I think these guys like the high elevations. So I personally think they like to come down from these high elevations to watch people or go after food.
Yeah.
And then go back up again.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my guess, that they take advantage of it, the seasonal changes in weather and this and that. But it's just such a beautiful mountain to be at the base of. And I've been out there. I think I've done 3 expeditions out there and have had activity every single time. So, I went out with Rick Knoll. Do you know Rick Knoll by any chance, Tristan?
I know who I never met him, but I know who he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He is the one that helped get the Skookum body cast
Oh, okay.
in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. Yep, cool area.
Awesome.
So Tate, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. You're not related to Bob Hieronymus.
No, I saw Thomas Steenberg put that in the chat. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
No, I'm a Bigfooter. I'm currently located in Florida right now, but my primary area I like to research every year is Bluff Creek. So I get out there. And,
right.
I've been working on my own independent documentary stuff, and kind of been doing that for a little bit. And it's just something I keep doing each year and perfecting my craft at it. And then. I possibly filmed one in 2016 in Southern California when I used to live out there. But yeah, kind of now I'm just here in Florida doing my thing and try and make it to California as much as I can.
Well, how did you meet Tristan?
It was actually through Alexander Petikoff's.
Okay.
I saw Tristan on his show, and I heard the audio that they played that Tristan got, and I wanted to reach out to Tristan because I was going to do an episode of my series up there in the Mount St. Helens area, and I reached out to Tristan, and he was kind enough to join me and a few other people. So kind of the rest is history.
Very cool. Very cool. So, so you guys met through Alex, and you got together and you did an expedition out west, and that's cool. It's cool. Very neat. So, where's David, Alex? Oh, you're muted, Alex.
Let me put him back on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's get David up.
There you are. Hey, David.
Here I am.
Back.
Tristan. Hey, Tate.
Hey, David.
So you've done some analysis on Tristan's audio. Is that right?
Yeah, I have looked at it. Yeah, Tristan has been kind enough to send it my way, and it's very strange. It's very good.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know if we want to just jump into maybe tease on some of Tristan's audio.
Hey, this is your show. You do it.
Yeah, let's play some of Tristan's audio. I think it's the best because there's so many, it sounds like a number of animals communicating with each other or creatures.
So, Tristan, I got your first audio clip. Do you want to talk a little bit about what it is?
Well, I think they want to play the 52 one.
Okay, the 52. All right. Well,
Yeah.
All right. Here's the really exciting one. 1 second here. So here it is.
That's so amazing. Almost sounds like words in that little tiny one. Stuff takes patience. Is there another big whale coming up, Tristan?
Yeah, it builds up to it, I guess.
Oh, some of them are just incredible. What's so cool about audio recordings is you know what it's not. Are there any more big hits coming up, Alex? Can you try to go downstream so we don't have too much
So
sound?
I'm at 2 minutes and 48 seconds.
How long is the clip?
It's 21 minutes. Do you
Oh,
know,
yeah. Well,
Tristan?
jump around a little bit till you find something.
Wow.
That's just freaky. Although this one's not loud. So what sense did you have, Tristan, of how many creatures there were communicating?
I mean, I figured maybe at least more than 3 to 4.
Okay.
I was thinking it could be small pockets of different groups around the whole area there.
Are you skipping forward a little bit, Alex? Can you give him a time code, possibly, Tristan, on what to play?
Well, I'd say towards the middle and towards the end of it is when it really goes crazy.
Okay, well let's go to the end then. Try to get towards the end. Like Deborah Evan goes, it sounds ethereal, and there are parts of it that they sound like they're almost singing.
Yeah.
But not like coyotes or wolves it's quite beautiful, some of it, but some of it is just freaky that you captured. Anything yet, Alex? Can you find anything? Just keep jumping around. I mean, jump around till you actually hit something.
Yeah, I would say jump around a little bit.
Then you can backspace it.
So what are we looking for? Like a really loud?
Really loud. These are loud.
Okay.
Pretty easy to listen to.
So this is at 18 minutes, 23 seconds.
There's a part where it just keeps building and building. Sounds like a young one.
Look like you hear this?
Okay, say again, Tristan. How did you get this?
Well, first of all, you're playing the it's fine. You're playing the unedited version.
Alex,
This one isn't the amplified one. That's fine.
why don't you grab the edited version if you can find it?
Which do you know which number that is, Tristan, that you sent over?
I thought I sent that. I thought I gave you the unedited edited one.
So I got all the way up to 52.
Let's see.
So there's one that you've cut down.
Yeah. I thought I sent you that one. I apologize. Let's see, what's the best way I can do this?
David, did you find any of the recordings? Any of Tristan's recordings?
He has sent me recordings, and I have edited them down to shorter clips.
Okay.
But you said you were going to handle Tristan.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Alex, you
I
can
know.
play some of the other.
Obviously, we
numbered
didn't do a
ones.
very good job.
You can play some of the other numbered ones before it. That's also for Pumpkin Lake.
You're muted, Alex.
Is there a particular number you want me to start with? Or we could start with 1. There's an audio clip.
Well, okay. Well, I hate to jump back like this, but if you want, you can play my very first audio recording that I got. It wasn't at Bumping Lake, but it was near me. That was number 1. I can go into detail with that after you can play it. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I thought I sent you the right ones. That's very strange.
Now, Thomas Steenberg brings up, of course, the point with all weird audio. We don't know it's a Bigfoot unless you see it and film it. But it's fits into the we kind of know what it's not. Yep, and we could all be wrong. And every last Bigfoot clip that's ever been recorded may not be a Bigfoot.
Exactly.
And that's a reality we all have to face.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not claiming any of this audio to be Bigfoot.
No, of
because
course.
I didn't see what made it.
But there's many differences with the audio that because of modern equipment, David can go, this is not a coyote. This is not a wolf. This is not a bobcat. So that we can eliminate things. And eventually you're kind of left with nothing. So in some ways, if it's not Bigfoot, it might be even more interesting.
Yeah.
There might be some other animal we're not aware of. Some little lizard that can scream and carry its little lizard voice for, 20 miles. Some lizard with big lungs, that would be just as interesting as a Bigfoot.
It's a giant salamander.
Exactly. So how do you deal with this, David? What we were just talking about. How do you, as an expert, deal with the fact?
Well, let's back up the truck. I don't claim to be an expert, but I do use principles of the bioacoustic realm, which bioacoustics is a methodology science uses to study known animals. And there's a library of sounds called the Macaulay Library of Sounds, where they have thousands and thousands of animals that have been documented, witnessed, seeing, making vocalizations. Now, it doesn't cover every vocalization, so there's always still that caveat that it still could be a coyote, it could be a wolf, but we tend to be able to narrow that down to maybe it's not, scenario. Hello? Oh, I think that was a recording.
I think
Doug, you're
muted.
muted.
The recording.
Gosh.
That was the
Okay.
recording.
All right, let's go and listen to the recording. What is this, Tristan?
Alex, you should probably play that from the beginning if you can.
What is the sound, Tristan, that we're
Sounds
hearing?
like my dog eating dinner.
So,
I know, but
you want me to just, I'll just explain it before you play the whole thing then.
please.
Okay,
Alex,
so
pause
this
it.
is what started my whole thing into Bigfooting. In 2015, my father was taking out the trash one morning while going to work, and he heard these two whoops. There's a forested hill behind my house, and he heard two whoops from two different directions up on this hill, almost like as if they were communicating with each other. And so after he put out the trash, he started going down he started to go to work, and as he was going down the road here, there was a herd of elk in the middle of the road, all looking up at that hill where the whoops were coming from. So he actually had to swerve around the herd of elk that were in the middle of the road to get to work. And so about a week later, he told us about it. He told us that he heard the whoops up on the hill. And so my mother and I went up on the hill, and I left an audio recorder out there, along with a jar of peanut butter and some peanut butter crackers in a little plastic wrapping. And we left those up there overnight, and then the next morning, I went back up there to retrieve the audio recorder and see what happened with the peanut butter. And sure enough, the peanut butter jar looked like it had looked like possible fingers went inside of it and dug some peanut butter out of the jar, leaving some possible dermal ridges, fingerprints along the inside of the jar. And the peanut butter crackers were gone. They were neatly taken out. Something neatly took them out of the wrapping and ate them. And the audio recorder, I had the audio recorder strapped to a stump with a bungee cord. And it looked fine. It didn't look like there was no scratches or teeth marks or anything on it. So I didn't think anything messed with it until I went home and I listened to the audio recorder and on the audio recording after my mother and I left. It was getting pretty dark at that point, but after an hour after we left, something comes in and starts eating the peanut butter, and you can actually hear it. You can hear it opening up the peanut butter crackers and eating them. And then about a few seconds later, you hear a real deep, low growl, as if I'm assuming it probably sees my audio recorder, sees the light on it.
Okay.
So you can actually hear it go. Rrr. And then a few seconds later, whatever this thing is starts messing with my audio recorder and fumbling with it. And as you were hearing, they're growling at it. But like I said, there was no scratch marks or teeth marks on this thing. And
Okay, so let's listen. Now we'll listen to the clip, and we'll understand what we're hearing.
So that's the tail end of the clip there.
Very weird.
Yeah, that's a tail end. That's a tail end of the clip. But
Yeah,
the
that's
beginning
weird.
part of the clip is what's weird is you hear a loud feedback kind of a sound, like a whoop. And I don't know what that is.
Play the very beginning again, Alex.
weird. That's not the beginning.
That's not the beginning?
No, it's only playing where it starts growling. That's weird.
Oh, well,
It's okay.
that's what we have.
It's okay. But yeah, I can't explain that growling stuff, because if it was a bear, in my opinion, I think the bear would have tried to, chew on it and claw it, because I think bears like to go after the batteries and record.
Did you find the wrappers for these peanut butter crackers?
We did. They were neatly taken out of there. They weren't ripped apart.
Yeah, so you found no puncture wounds in the wrappers?
No, they were neat, almost. Yeah, there's a peanut butter jar.
Oh wow!
So it kind of looks like there was a. Well, that's a footprint from a different area, but yeah.
Yeah, Alex is getting into his clicky.
I'm
It's
just
okay,
so
but-
excited. You got so much stuff to share.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff. Yeah. But that's
Okay.
But that whole event is what set me off in terms of getting into Bigfooting, because.
Well, let's talk about the crackers. Let's go deep on the crackers, because if it's a bear, there's going to be puncture marks all over it.
Right.
You have to have
And
hands to open a wrapper, a cellophane wrapper. We've all eaten those crappy peanut butter crackers, and you got to get that little cellophane wrapper off, and you got to have hands to do it.
Right.
Yep, and you're going to notice.
It was neatly taken out. It wasn't ripped apart.
How many did it eat?
Well, I think it was just one package of them. I think there's at least two of them
okay.
in there, but they're all gone. And like you see with the peanut butter, I would have assumed a bear would have taken the peanut butter jar away, because that's what they usually do, and they rip it apart. And that was, as you see, that peanut butter jar was intact.
And they chew it all up.
They chew
the
it.
jar.
Yeah, exactly.
Could it maybe have been like a raccoon or something, or no?
I guess I
Probably
can't rule
not.
anything. I can't rule anything out, I guess. But,
No. Chances are, Tate, there would have been little bite marks still all over it.
True.
Raccoons are never alone. You got to understand, they fight in there. They're never alone, ever. They're always in a big group fighting. There'd been teeth marks all over that jar.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do they call them? Trash pandas. Yeah, they would have been bad. So what do you think on this, David, on that, the whole peanut butter cracker thing?
What do I think? You come to the conclusion that it's got to be something with opposable thumbs or dexterity, which would be a raccoon. But I don't know if a raccoon would be that tidy. I think they too would make a mess of things. They've got pretty sharp teeth, so I would imagine they would go after the crackers with teeth. I've seen peanut butter jars taken and eaten just like what Tate has shown us in several different locations. So peanut butter seems to be a delicacy that they all like, or something likes that doesn't destroy the container. That's and screws the lid back on, that kind of thing. So
put the jar back up, Alex.
Okay.
That's on the side of it.
Yeah, that looks like fingers.
Dermal. Yeah. So leave that. No, Alex, you're jumping around. Just put it up. The one with the dermals. There. Yeah, those sure look like dermal ridges to me.
Looks like hair too, down there to the right at the bottom.
Yeah.
A little swish of something in there.
Okay,
And
let's look in the inside of the jar now.
That's not mine.
There we go, in the jar.
You might want to erase that picture. Okay.
Looks like finger indentations.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like raccoon paws or hands.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
So just a question, guys. We're approaching an hour here. We got Sandy, Jim, Bart, Paul, and John in the back room.
Yeah, bring them on.
Oh my God.
Oh,
wow. It's a Brady Bunch.
Hello, guys.
Hey, hello.
We'll put Doug in the middle.
yeah, I don't want to be monkey in the middle. So let's start with Sandy. Sandy, do you want to just give us a little background on why you're into this mystery and how you ended up getting some of this evidence? And I believe I talked to your husband, correct? No? Sandy, can you hear me?
I think she locked up.
Oh, there.
She's back.
She's
She's starting to talk.
Sandy, can you hear me? Oh, she's locked up, man. Okay, well, let's move
All right,
on.
lightning round. Next.
You were locked up, Sandy.
You back?
No, I don't think her internet's hanging up. So, okay, well, let's start with Bart. Hey, Bart. Good to meet you.
How you doing? Good to
Good. We've never met.
Never met in person. Yeah, no, it's good to see some familiar faces there. We got Andrews, Jimmy Budiske, David Ellis. Miss you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, go ahead and just give us a little bit of your background, Bart.
Yeah, I was, I was always into it as a kid, more as the, historical, reading the books, that type of thing, and it was always a passion of mine. And I think, it's weird we get these invisible chains in life, and it wasn't until I was about 28 that I actually took the plunge, went on the first BFRO expedition in urban California in 2004. And that's kind of when I jumped in the field and, just happened to meet, the right guys, Moneymaker, Bobo, Cliff. They were all yams. They all became best friends pretty much right off the bat. And, I continued to go on these expeditions for a few years, help out with the BFRO ones, and then just got more and more involved. And, of course, BFRO, Olympic Project. I do my own private expeditions now. I used to start in the bumping area, and then
Everybody went to Blues. What's the anthropologist's name?
they call Barfoot. So, yeah. So no, very, very active still. I just stay a little more behind the scenes than I used to, but still heavily pursued.
So, have you had a sighting near Mount St. Helens? I know you research out there, but have you seen anything, or just a lot of experiences?
Not St. Helens. Actually, it was my first time actually researching in Washington. It was Bumpy Lake, and it was 7.
Okay.
My primary visual of what they now call California Camp over there. And it was actually probably about a 4 to 5 minute thermal sighting with the old X200 XP thermal imagers from L3 we had that, they didn't record. It was pretty much a nightmare. Press a button like you do today.
Okay.
Technology's changed, but it was probably most unbelievable experience of my life. Never knew I'd be lucky enough to see one, let alone that it would go down that way. And then also kind of heavily influenced me from there. I don't want to say so much the failures of that, but everything that I was able to perceive, it really kind of niched me in how I was going to perceive from that point on throughout the years. So, and thermal's it, it's, finding those vantage points over the human activity, the sniper position, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
And that's where I've had my visuals.
Hey, David, you had a question for?
Yeah, I think it would be good if we could get Bart's pictures up so the audience could get a really good understanding of what he witnessed.
1 second.
08, 09, and 10.
I think 10 might be the first one.
10 is the first one. Yeah.
All right, I'll pull 10 up. Get them in. Whoop. No.
Oh, that's not 10.
Yeah, actually, that's the right one to start. Yeah, out of the 3. So yeah, I had a Canadian artist actually commissioned to do this, and it was just more of a commemorative. I have the poster hanging in my office, and he nailed it pretty good. But you let me know. Do you want me to just go right into it, or?
Yeah, I mean, this is what you saw. So tell us the story.
Yeah, so I did the road trip up there, one of the most memorable of my life, with Bobo, Yamarone. We met Cliff up there, and then all our Washington BFRO at that time, and got Ellis there, of course, and a couple of these guys, Budiske, I think Andrews, you were there too. And what happened was we'd been there a couple of days. It was kind of part social, part Patterson film, anniversary. and part research. They had a lot of activity over there pumping. So third night, nothing had happened up to that point. A lot of great barred owl calls. And I remember we got back. I was in Marysville, Washington that day, and I get back. We have dinner, and later in the night, we're getting close to midnight right now, and most of our gang is. I think Paul was there too, Paul Graves. Most of the gang was kind of congregated down in a little berm section, and there was a pathway that just kind of went back, a trail that kind of went back with a bend in it, about 100 yards. I walked back and just went back to relieve myself. It was pitch black back there. And I kind of moseyed on back, and I had heard something step branch break pretty close to me. And I told Cliff, I said, yeah, because at that time, Wally was just starting to fund us with thermal, and he had the X200 XP. And so I said, you got the handheld, just take a look. And so I ended up walking back down that same pathway, and I look, and I happen to catch my eye immediately. There's a thermal subject that's bipedal that's behind the biggest tree in view right on that bend. And, my first thought is, oh, it's one of the girls trying to relieve herself behind the tree, because you can only see 10 to 15% of the subject. Then it began doing like this right and left, back and forth behind the tree, and then literally just stepped out in a clear. There was no vegetative obstruction at all. Stepped out to the left. And it was just shocking, and dropped down to, I don't want to say on all fours, but dropped down, knees down, arms extended, and it looked like it was trying to discern me better and lock in on me, and it just really couldn't. Right.
Well, okay, let me back the truck up. So there was no moon tonight, the night you saw this. It was very dark.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember the moon. It was heavy canopy where it was. Okay. So it was pitch black.
So this creature thought he was concealed.
100% was in the darkest point of camp, completely concealed, where it was loitering, if you will, right? And there was just a ton of fast transitioning on the ground, and the subject was just so, like, I guess I would describe very hyper aware. And it was crazy because Cliff was putting stuff away. I could hear him like 35 yards behind me putting stuff in the back of the truck. The rest of the guys were just oblivious, playing guitar. They were down a berm, and I'm snapping my fingers and trying to get Cliff's attention. Left. And as I did that, this thing would almost, to the sound of me, was like almost convulsive, hyper aware movements, and then it would pause, freeze in between. It was the craziest thing ever to see it, react like that. And it's too, from a sound perspective. I ended up, I was about 32 yards initially. I'm sorry, I was about 50 yards initially, and then had creeped up. So ton of fast transitioning on the ground, essentially got on its knees, stomach perpendicular to the ground, and did some kind of what looked like an aggressive digging motion, like violently swinging the arms and shoulders back, and got to its right shoulder and put its left hand up. And this is really interesting because you got to remember, I'm using a thermal imager which picks up IR. It doesn't give off IR like night vision. So technically, there's nothing there that it should see. And it never made sense to me for years, like why you could see this splayed hand, kind of covering its face. Years later, I learned it was probably the angle of the ambient light that it was trying to block to better discern me straight on in that direction. So anyways, a lot of fast transitioning on the ground, a lot I saw, a lot I missed. Subject got up, got back down, got up behind the tree again. You may want to go to the next.
Well, first I'm going to interrupt you, Bart.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, again, this is an artist rendition of what you saw.
That's correct. I have some casual impressionist ones, with the thermal picture in the background, just to get an idea of what I saw.
Right. This helps everybody envision what you were seeing live. That's
absolutely
what it's for. Yep.
So Bart, which one do you want? The one where it's laying down?
Yeah, show the one real quick where it's got the hand up by its face. Give you an idea. Yeah, exactly. Look very much like that. And then we could just go from where we are in the story, just go to the last one there where it's standing with its back to me. So this was actually one I watched for probably, seemed like an eternity, but about a minute and a half. Motionless. I could see the calves north, profile very close to that. Shoulders here are a little off. There's a couple things that are a little off, but he got pretty close. about 2/3 of the weight, upper extremities, and more of the hourglass body, small round head, long arms, big hands. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like the feeling of seeing something most people don't believe is real, but it's right there in front of you. And unfortunately, there was nothing I could do about it at that time because I know, kind of X200 XP, it doesn't record by itself. So the hardest thing I probably ever did in my life was taking that imager off my eye, and so we could have a chance to record it. Ran back, just screaming obscenities at Cliff. So he knew right away. He just got in, and back then, it's interesting. It was a 5 to 10 minute setup, and he was fast. And basically, what we had is to record. You had to put the imager on a bicycle helmet, have the viewers in front of your eyes. You hold a backpack with marine backpack in front of you, all the proprietary cords. I mean, you talk about a pain in the butt. And you'd have to walk someone like a 90-year-old lady because depth perception, right? It's how you look through those things. So at this point, everybody in the party, they're walking up, turning their headlamps on. What's all the commotion? It's not their fault. They didn't know what was going on. Cliff runs back there, and about 5 minutes later, and I'm sitting there just praying he gets it. About 5 minutes later, he comes back kind of shaking his head, which was no surprise with all the commotion. And what happened from that point was then Paul goes back there, Paul Graves, and I know he's 6'3", 170, and he's kind of winter clothed, he's got the beanie on, whatever. And seeing him back in that position, I mean, I already knew what I saw. I knew that it had stepped out. I mean, it was clear what the subject was, but it was to really be able to have a baseline and gauge the size and without the clothing. I mean, even with the X200 XP, you can see the hair patches from 32 yards.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Once again, those are paintings, so people can see what he saw. Did you notice any of the areas that were insulated most on the creature? The reason I've done a lot of studies with bears and thermal cameras to see where they're losing heat on their body. Where did you notice the most heat coming off the creature?
Gosh, that's
quite important.
Good question. I would say a lot on the upper, definitely more towards the head, which the head was actually more kind of back of the head. It was more rounder and smaller than I would have guessed. You know what I mean? But on the flip side, though, it could have been sunken down in the shoulders a little bit because there was no hair and broad shoulders. But I recall, I think the upper body, the head, very patchy. The legs were not more thinner. Like you almost wonder, hey, how's that lower half really holding up the upper half? And the transitioning, how agile it was just remarkable. How his body leverage to move. I'd say I predominantly in spots in the upper body and towards the head is where I recall probably seeing the most heat. Definitely get a better gauge today with the unit I have now.
So that's going to be a real. I mean, seeing a creature out in the open like that, in thermal, that must have changed your whole life.
It changed my life because I had about 25 years of interest, and to know for myself at that. I mean, I think I was literally crying that night, and I was up on a high. I mean, there was, it wasn't a frightening scenario. But it was there's something very impersonal about seeing them through the therm versus I can only imagine seeing them in daylight, right?
Right.
And it was just very surreal. And we did have a lot of other activity happen that night. Bobo, I think, got bluff charged while he was trying to go to the bathroom. Some of the girls in the party walked back. They heard giggling. We had them possibly come around the tents that night, running. It was dumping rain all night there. And, I mean, it was by far the most, and it showed me too, because I know what the money shot looks like. So I know it's attainable. I did get them 5 years later in the Sierras, but nothing like this. They were 105 yards away, similar scenario.
Yeah.
But no.
I was gonna just interrupt you one more time. If everybody could mute their mics if they're not on, so we don't get all this background noise on, and then there's a little button off on the left side bottom that says mute. There we go. So I would imagine that the next day you're just like probably felt like Murphy's Law got you. You feel that failure because you didn't get a recording of it.
It was a mixed bag because it was like, oh my God, at least I know for myself, I know it could be done. But then, yeah, are you ever going to, that point's not lost on me. Are you ever going to get the opportunity again? Are you
Again,
ever
yeah.
do one again, right? And it was, and it went through, it was a weird kind of mix because Cliff and I, we ended up tracking back through Oregon, and he dropped me off in Shasta on that trip. And I just remember, like, there was even a couple days where the emotion was so high from that night and the adrenaline through the roof that I was down a couple of days. Like, you all right? Like just down a couple of days because I think I was just at such a high, and it was life changing. Oh, no doubt. And I know he's brought me back there, even though I've never had that type of success there, bumping again, and I've been there, God, spearheaded countless expeditions there and still go back periodically. But not that we don't have other activity, but I've never had a visual one there again, with hundreds of hours of thermal. But now with all my experience, I'm even more sure of what I saw that night, and just get an opportunity like that in the clear. From that distance threshold.
Do you have any more pictures or things that we want to share?
If you pulled up, I think it's BFRO report 26065, and on there, what you'll see is, like you just saw the artist recreations there, the less formal ones, the ones that I kind of did. It shows.
Hey Bart, could you say that number again? The BFR report number.
Yeah,
I can look it up. I can look it up in the BFR database since I am in the flats if you want me to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 26065. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Cool.
And there's even a little map, and I tried to get as much information as possible. Detail.
So, have you recorded any audio, Bart, ever?
Yes, a couple times throughout the years. 2010. Bobo and myself got followed out on a really dicey coastal trail middle of the night, and we got some single knock responses that were really interesting. They got paralleled out. That was the most aggressive ever, and he won't admit it, but we were bumping shoulders walking off that trail. And 60 days later, I go back same spot. Ranger Leiterman is another partner of mine. We're actually going to do a book together.
Yep.
And so Leiterman, it was great having Leiterman there.
I've
so
met
we
him.
did what we call the NorCal tree destruction video. And basically what that is, we got in there later at dusk. So it was earlier, 60 days on the nose, and same spot. And I start stirring it up, single knocks back, single acoustic knocks that match acoustically whatever those initial knocks were 60 days earlier. And then I keep progressing, and then the tree gets ripped down, and it sounds like 9 gunshots going off, about 75 yards above. It was epic. I mean, it was epic to be there in person, pitch black. And it's a place I've been to about 40 times, never had anything happen prior. And then it took, I think Bobo and I got action again in 2018 in the same spot. Been in there 50 times after it. So it was those 2 consecutive times, same spot, but then nothing all those other times, which is kind of remarkable.
Bart, this is David.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you good.
David, your mic is so hot they can hear you on Jupiter.
Okay, sorry.
Turn your
you said get close.
You back off.
Okay. There's a clip where something is thrown at you. And it is clip 15. This was in the same camp in the same scenario where the tree got pushed over, but something was thrown at you. We confirmed that last night when we talked. So Alex, can you play cut 15?
Yeah, I'm grabbing it right now. So clip 15.
And David, I think this one was bumping at Rock Camp, I think in 09 when we were together, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So that was yeah. That's my first time back to bumping, actually, after 07.
So Bart, in like 20 words or less, what can you tell everybody listening who doesn't know anything about this subject? Why do you think they're real?
Basically because I've seen them. I would not believe it if I had seen them with my own eyes. But before that, I think even more importantly, I always say, I'm not so impressed with someone like me that had the passion, then got into it. What always blew me away, if you want to know the truth, is most of my peers that I'm out there with, these are people that had not any interest whatsoever, saw one. It's the come to Jesus moment. Maybe the spouse doesn't understand that was the non-witness spouse, and now they're pursuing it the rest of their life. That's half my friends that I get. Yeah. So that always said a lot to me before seeing it for myself. And you don't unsee it. So I know when I go out there, I know what I'm looking for. I can't.
Well, what's another argument? Let's say you hadn't seen one. What's another argument?
What do you mean by that?
Well, another elevator pitch on why they're real. Let's say you wouldn't have seen one. You've still had a lot of experiences. What's another reason to sell somebody that these creatures are real?
Well, you won't hear me quoting the evidence record much because I'm one that will admit to you right now. I think most of the evidence record is a joke. I think it's despicable, and I think some of the best evidence is actually totally. Someone like David Ellis or Chris Spencer, these guys, they've actually done real research on the audio end, and as you were talking about earlier in the show, required stuff that we know, those aren't coyotes, those aren't, you know what I mean? I think that is, I think that's pretty damn good evidence, but we're going to need a hell of a lot more because the standard should be higher, not lower. The evidence, in my opinion. So,
I agree, but there still is a lot of 10,000 documented sightings. It's just that alone. I mean, it's nuts. I always like to tell people the sightings happen in very geographic, specific areas. That's, to me, one of the best arguments. They happen near water. They happen near hills. They happen in forests. It points to a living, breathing creature.
At times, too, where they should be, where they would. For instance, you're not going to have in January, there shouldn't be Bigfoot's up at 10,000 feet in Lake Tahoe.
Right.
There's no food. It's not temperate. It's not, even when I got him in the Sierras, that's a 3-month window of 7,100 feet there.
And they don't happen at those times.
You're right.
We've done GIS studies like in Colorado, and you see the sightings where they should happen at the right time of year, and you don't see them when they shouldn't happen, just like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Alex, if you've got to play that clip. And we're going to get to everybody here, so just everybody be patient. And we're going into episode 2, and we'll just keep these shows going. So we'll get to everybody. Did you find the clip, Alex?
Yeah, this is clip 15, David. It's an audio clip.
Yes.
Do I have that right?
Yes, clip 15. You're going to hear a voice, which we clarified, Bart, last night, didn't we, that's not you. I thought it was you that said something, but something yells and whistles something past Bart's head, and he tries to blame it on Leiterman. So,
all right. So I'm gonna play it one more time from the beginning. It's 18 seconds.
We're not hearing it, Alex. Nothing coming through. Nothing.
Are you guys not hearing that,
No,
David? Are you hearing that?
No, I'm not hearing it either.
No, nothing.
Oh, here, 1 second.
I don't think you can share two things at once.
I got it. So it is 15. Here we go. There it is. All right, you guys hearing that?
Yeah.
Robert, did you throw something at me? Sorry? Did you throw something at me? Did you just throw something at me? No. Well, someone did.
Could you play that again just so we can hear the yell?
Yeah. One more time. Here we go.
Robert, did you throw something at me? Sorry? Did you throw something at me? Did you just throw something at me?
Play the beginning and just kind of keep clicking it so we can hear it a few times. That very beginning moan. Yeah.
Robert, did you throw something at me?
Interesting.
Robert, did you throw something at me? Robert, did you throw something at me? Sorry? Did you throw something at me?
All right. It's good.
Yeah.
It's weird hearing your voice from 15 years ago. What the hell it was. I had forgotten about that too. I knew we had a couple things happen on that trip, but I just, it's been, they kind of get intermixed sometimes.
There was somebody that mentioned a really interesting comment that I've actually thought quite a bit about are there ever sightings in the rain? And I can just repeat a very quick story that happened up at Snow Grove. One of the last times I went up there, it had been raining for 3 days. We had no activity, none. It stopped raining. I walked out on the porch. It just stopped and had a rock whipped at the shed and then ricocheted off this little shed and then landed at my feet. But it wasn't rain. Rain had finally stopped. So maybe they don't like rain. So it was just interesting. I have thought about that. You don't hear reports. You don't hear sightings when it's raining, which is interesting. They may have a big aversion to rain. So anything else, Bart, that we want to go over?
No, I mean, I think that's it for regionally where we're discussing tonight.
Okay. Well, we'll stand by because we're gonna don't leave us. So who's next here? Sandy, can you hear me?
Here.
Good.
Yes,
Yep,
I
there you go.
can.
Unmute your mic. Perfect.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, great.
So tell us just quickly, who you are, why you're into this subject.
Well, I got started in 2013 because of some experiences that my sister had here at this beach house on the Pacific Ocean. There's a lot of tundra here, and it was never on my radar or hers either, but she started having experiences and ultimately found out that there were other people in the area that were having Bigfoot experiences. And she notified the BFRO. They came out, they did some investigation, and they introduced me to Bigfoot, Sasquatch. And all these years later, we're still going strong. So I've been, like I said, anywhere from the Pacific Coast in Washington State to the Olympics to the Cascade Mountains and into the Blue Mountains, just camping in Sasquatch habitat and having experiences with them.
Do you want to go ahead and just kind of give us a story, one of your stories?
Well, my first story, the first sighting I had was in October of 2013 of a very large 9-foot Sasquatch in the Cascade Mountain Range. He was 30 feet away from my vehicle as I was driving on a Forest Service road, and he froze. His hair stood on end, and I just coasted by him with a lot of swear words coming out of my mouth in total disbelief of what I was seeing. Even though I was out looking for him, I didn't have any preparation for actually seeing such a huge individual. He was very broad. He was chiseled. It was 6 o'clock in the evening. The sun was behind him. I had a great visual all the way down to his hips. Like I said, he was extremely muscular and he never moved. He didn't flinch. I saw him out my windshield, out the passenger side of my car, and out the back passenger window before a small tree came along and blocked my view from him. I went back the next day after a lot of coaxing and started doing some investigation and found out that he was only 30 feet, 9 feet tall, very broad shoulders, dark in color. I later on was hypnosed. I went through hypnosis to see what my subconscious remembered. And there was a little bit more detail. He was standing facing me. He had a brow line, eye sockets. I never saw his eyes because the sun was behind me, but he was very rippled and very chiseled and extremely broad-shouldered, very muscular. And it scared the heck out of me. And I didn't want to go back in the forest for a long time, but Barb Shoup allowed me to borrow her dog, Gabby. And Gabby and I would go back in the forest. And also, Barb and I would go from time to time when she could. And then we started a camp out group. And everything's just kind of has progressed to the point where I am now married, and my husband and I go. We were out in the field 80 days last year camping in their habitat, and we're hoping to at least do 80 days or exceed that this year, in hopes of continuing to have experiences with these forest beings. So I have sent along a clip of some of Kevin's audio from the Cascade Mountains, if you would like to start with that. It's number 6. Number 16, Alex.
Sounds good. Can you guys hear this?
Oh, yeah. Feel free to talk through it, Sandy, and then we can replay something if you want, like back it up. So go ahead and narrate.
Well, this was taken last year during a camp, probably about 4 o'clock in the morning. It woke up the entire camp. It seemed like these individuals, I think there was more than one, was just across the dirt road and in the forest somewhere. And it's interesting that we have heard them, I call it singing when there's more than one. We had heard that before in this area, and then to wake up to this was phenomenal. And this went on probably for about 15 or 20 minutes, I believe. And this is just a small clip of that.
Is the best stuff at the very beginning? Because I noticed it was really loud at the beginning.
Well, it actually, the clip that I sent, it has some crescendo, and then it gets quiet and crescendos again.
Okay.
It's not looped. It's over a minute long.
Okay. Go ahead and start that over again, Alex.
That's Kevin snoring. That's snoring.
What was the exact time? Do you remember the time?
It was around 4 o'clock in the morning, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's certainly been something I've noticed. They seem to get real active just before the sun comes up.
Kevin has a habit of trying to get up around 3 or 3:30. Some campouts and just do night sits by himself. In this instance, we were all in bed, tucked in, and the singing started. And it ultimately woke up almost the entire camp.
Yeah, it's always so different when you're actually there listening to it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You know,
it was very, very loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear Kevin snoring. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How come you didn't wake him up?
Well, I didn't hear it. So this is on a parabolic. It's either a Olympus or a Tascam recorder with a parabolic mic. And it was going on. And then ultimately he did wake up. We all woke up. He even got out of the tent and went to make sure the rest of the campers were awake to hear this, because it was, and other campers were already awake, standing outside their tent going, oh my God, everybody's hearing this.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a couple of different voices. And certainly it was extremely loud when you're there.
Very cool. And I think, aren't there some photos too that you've got
I did. So this area in the Cascades that we like to go to, or the late spring, and also in the fall, we always wait for the weather to change, and we actually have gone to this lake now since I think 2015 is the first time I went to this lake. In 2017, we were on a camp out with a bunch of people, and it had just poured while we were setting up camp. It was the dark of the moon phase, and some things happened in camp. But the campers came in, we covered this entire lake area, and on, I think it was September 14th or so, we went out to the lake bed and found this mud bog out there. Kevin and Ashley found this mud bog. They came and got me and said, "You've got to see this. We found some butt prints that are in the mud, and there's some mud holes that have been dug out where someone has sat down and put their feet and legs in these mud holes." And so a lot of we converged on this muddy mud bog area, and there were actually at least 3 butt prints in this mud bog, 2 muddy holes that had been dug out, and there were knees and shins and, oh my gosh, handprints. There were just all kinds of slips and slides, not a lot of footprints, but there were some, and we did take note of them, and we did take pictures. We actually casted the largest of the butt print, and it took every bit of hydrocal that we had to do it, and it's quite fascinating. So this is the largest of the butts that we found, and that's the mud hole at the top of the picture. And it appears to be a naked individual sitting in this clay mud, and just dangling their feet. Because of the cracking in the bottom of the mud, it looks to be at least 24, maybe 36 hours, maybe 48 hours old. But it had been raining off and on since we were camping, and it was still in pretty darn good shape. So I think it was pretty fresh.
Was there evidence? Was there evidence, Sandy, of like their anus and some of the genitalia or anything?
Yes. So these are the knees and the shins, and that's Kevin's knee on the right. I did look for the toes behind it, but they were destroyed with the slips and the slides. I did not find any toes that were associated with those knees. But the patellas are quite pronounced and into the mud deeper than the shins, which tells me that individual was leaning forward, probably to get into the mud pit, because this was just found not far behind the big butt print. And so this is another measurement of that shin and knees. And then as we continued just kind of looking through there's the hand that was next to the big butt print. And there was also a smaller butt that was on the other side of this handprint. So this individual, I believe it was a she, and I'll show you why, but she rolled to her right to get out of the mud pit, and it flattened out the cast on the right. This is the smaller butt that was found on the other side of this little stream. And at the very top, you can see another mud pit. This one was only about 1 foot wide. So it was a smaller individual. And I believe this one was male. And I can show you why as well, because we took some human castings in the mud of bare butts just to compare.
Sure.
So we're out and we're doing the work, and we're trying to research our own research and just keep it as real as possible.
You got to do what you got to do.
Got to do it. So
God, this is fascinating.
So that's the same small butt print, and you can see the thighs out the top of the photo as it's putting its legs down into this muddy pit. And we know that, mud and clay is great for skin lesions and bugs and all that good stuff. So it's very interesting. We did find hair in the casts when I was cleaning them. It was very interesting hair. Here's the cast. So it sat on the dining room table for about 7 or 9 days, and I started cleaning it. And if you look at this picture, don't change it. This is the back of the butt. The legs are to the upper right, and you can see these hair striations on the lower right. I think it's clumping hair, but I don't know because I didn't see this person sitting there. But it's a very interesting artifact. When you look up from that clumping hair business, just look up maybe an inch or so, you see a femoral dimpling area, I call it. And then that is the right thigh or leg that you see. And then you see the midline, you see the perineum, you actually see that little linear ligament right there. I don't know if you can see that, and I can't point to it.
Well, you have an extensive medical background, Sandy.
I do.
So you're highly qualified to point.
And I'm a woman, and I know what my hoo-ha looks like.
Okay, well, show us. Let's get into that because it's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, so there was a ligament there, and then there's also, it looks to be an anus as well. And then you can tell the perineum, and then you can go to the next photo. I believe this is a black and white. This is the same photo. I just did it in black and white to see if it stood out any better.
Okay.
But you can still see that ligament. And this is actually taken from this is now the left side that you're looking at. Okay, so next photo. And then it should be the cast itself in the right side. And now that little ligament, it looks like there's a V at the top. If you look at the midline, it looks there's a line with like a V or a big Y. It looks like a ligament to me. And beyond that is the anus, which is very interesting. And then you've got all of these lines that are going.
So is the anus right in kind of the middle of the cast?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is in this picture.
I mean.
So it's very interesting. It's got hair striations in it. It's got that clumping, the lines, the dimpling. You can definitely see the upper thighs. So it's very fascinating. So you can go to the next picture, the next photo.
Have you done any comparison to the skookum, some of the skookum casts?
Well, I would love to see the skookum cast.
Oh, we got to get you over there. Yeah.
I would love to see it.
I can arrange that for you.
Oh, I would definitely go to see that. I did meet Rick Knoll. He came out and looked at this along with Scott Taylor, and he was very pleased with it. And he said that what else could it be? So he was a believer that it was also Sasquatch.
Well, go ahead and tell us about this picture.
Okay, so this is the known human female. Her name is Loretta, and she said she would sit in the mud for us. So this is the same clay mud. She took her pants down and sat in the mud, and she rolled to her right to get out, just like the cast. We were trying to reproduce that impression in the mud. And what we found was this: you can see the coccyx at the bottom of the photo. You can see a drop of mud where it fell out of her buttock crack. But you can also see the perineum beyond that drop of mud. If you follow that midline up, there's the perineum.
Can you explain what that body part is to a...
Well, so we have labias, and our little labia folds. They're kind of Well, everybody's seen one, right? So we have labial folds. We don't have a ligament with a Y. And that is what's got me very interested in these casts, because they're not like the known human female. I didn't see any hair in this cast. And when we actually casted it, there's none of that, none of the, like the strands of hair that are clumped together. There's none of that. There's no ridges. It's just
right.
a bare butt.
Right. Let me clarify. This one is the reconstruction with your friend who is not a Bigfoot, and that's why you're not seeing the hair and these other dimples. And
right.
So
that's
on.
correct.
Yep. Okay.
That's correct.
That's amazing.
That's a female comparison, and then
So,
the next.
Okay, go ahead. I just want to immediately get a Bigfoot picture up here now. One of the other butt prints while it's fresh.
Okay.
Oh.
This is a known human male butt print. And we did that just for comparison because there's, again, no Y ligament. That's not there. So we did that to compare with the other smaller butt print that was also cast by Tristan's mom. She cast that one, and they have that cast in their collection. But that did not have the Y ligament. So it's probably a male.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's very fascinating. We ran out of casting material. We could only cast so much, but we were very good at trying to get our photo documentation. It was a very interesting mud bog to come across.
Gosh, yes.
A year later, we went back to the same area, to the same lake. And I think if you go forward again, those are some footprints. Okay. So before we go forward in the story, so these are some footprints that were on the outer edge of the mud bog. And this is kind of an interesting footprint. It's about maybe 9.5 inches or so long. It was narrow. Go to the next one. I've got the width. I think it's 4 inches wide. And then the heel is 2 inches wide. So that was interesting. This was found behind the smaller butt print.
It looked like the toes gripped. They
down inside.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You can see the big toe there.
Yep.
So you can go on to the next slide, please. This is another footprint that was found on the outer reaches of the bog, but it looks like there's also, if you go back to the very beginning of the mud bog photos itself, there is one of these that looks very comparable to this in size and width in the foreground. But we just didn't have any more casting materials. So we took pictures and we took the casting of the butt. We felt that was the most important. You can go to the next slide. And that's the width. And the next slide. This was really unusual. This is a 6-toed print. And 2 different people, I found this one, and another lady named May Nell, one of our campers, found another 6-toed print further down on the lake in the mud. And this is very interesting. We went back the next weekend to try and find this. And of course, I hadn't marked it, unfortunately, but I really wanted to cast it because it has 6 fully developed toes. And there's a condition called polydactyl, and 1 in 1,000 people are born with a 6th appendage, either finger or toe, and they usually remove it at birth. Not always, but usually. But this one also shows that there's a mid-tarsal break in there, right in the center. It did not have an arch. It was highly unusual. And every time I go to this lake, I'm looking for another 6-toed print because I would love to have that in my collection too. It was fascinating.
Yeah, very cool. I was gonna Well, just hang on one second, because people were talking about the Skookum cast, and I was going to reiterate, we have proved without any doubt the Skookum cast is not an elk. We had anthropologists. We had Dr. Darius Swindler, one of the best anthropologists in the world, who wrote the textbook on human anatomy compared to chimp anatomy, textbooks. We went and did what Sandy did. We got elk legs from a butcher, and we went out and we tried to duplicate. Not even come close. So it was not an elk. So, all right, go on. Sorry, Sandy.
No, that's okay. I mean, I don't know who did this. I can't say it was them for 100%. I just cannot.
Right.
But when you know what it's not, then you have to be open to the possibility of what
Correct.
is.
Yes.
So
I'm sorry to interrupt, Sandy. David, did you have a question? Did you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, it's Sandy. I just wanted to let you know I've got a 6-toed impression. The big toe and the second toe are kind of merged into one ball, which is I found was kind of interesting. And then it had 4 other toes, so it was a 6-toed individual.
Do you want to show that track, David?
No, I don't have it included. I don't have it included.
Do you want to just hold it up?
Oh, I don't have it with me.
I've got
it's in the garage somewhere.
I got it right behind me.
You give me an hour, I can go find it.
Oh, I've got it. I've got that track right in back.
Go now.
Hold on.
Can I ask what year you found it, David? What year?
Yeah, 2006.
Oh.
And
whether alive and well.
I've got a 6-digit hand impression.
Oh.
And I've got 2 4-toed impressions.
Okay. I'll be on the lookout for that too.
Look at that.
Oh, the baby.
And you can see the extremely broad heel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's quite interesting. I
Yeah,
don't know, that's showing up, probably not that great.
It's cute.
But it's definitely different.
Yeah. How long is that?
Looks to be about 3 inches.
I started doing a growth comparison chart, and I'm trying to use child growth and development charts and make my own chart with the prints that we've found over the years, just to see if there's any comparison. Because of the percentile that is used by Pediatric Association and others to measure human growth and development. And so I've been working on that since November, and it's very interesting. So that's a whole nother show, it's fascinating.
Alex, let me interrupt.
Sure.
I'll try to get the Skookum cast picture in the wings. Can you, Alex?
Yeah.
Online?
Yeah.
Find the one where it's been highlighted with yellow that shows the stuff, and then we'll go back to Sandy now, so you can.
If I can interrupt one more time.
Sure.
Alex, also, if you can pull up clip number 6, it shows the profile of Littlefoot, and you can clearly see the mid-tarsal break.
Okay.
Let me.
All right. Well, let's get back to Sandy, and then we'll come back and hit this other stuff.
So are you saying picture, David? Picture number 6?
Let's get back to Sandy.
Yeah, picture 6.
Okay.
I have to admit, Sandy, your stuff's amazing.
Thank you.
It's really got me.
It's definitely unique for sure. And
well, it's a rare thing, finding this mud wallow.
Yes. We were very fortunate to find it. Definitely.
Yep.
So, David, do you want to unmute yourself and?
Sure. That shows.
Comment on that?
Yeah, Doug mentioned how large the heel is. It's about half the foot, and then you can see the front. I've got it labeled, which you probably can't see real well, but it shows where the mid-tarsal area is, and you can clearly see the break.
Yeah.
Yep. Super interesting.
Yep.
Great.
Cool.
So let's go on, Sandy, and finish up your
Okay,
stuff.
so if you go back to my photos, I think
I'll be
let's see, where did we
there.
leave off?
Yeah, where were we? We were.
I can tell you, six-toed prints. How about go to number 24.
24. Got it.
So another artifact that was found in this mud pit was 3 possible pee holes. It was very interesting. It was on the grass and on the edge of the mud bog. They were 10 inches, about 10 inches in circumference. And the pee hole in the center is about 1 3/4 inches deep, the thrust. We don't know if it is a pee hole, but it's something definitely puddled there. And then there's footprints leading up to it. Like I said, there were 3 of them. We tried to do that. We drank a bunch of water. A male and a female tried to make a thrust, couldn't even get close.
Somebody had a good stream going.
A really good stream.
Well, I can honestly say I think I've witnessed it about a foot away from me once, outside a window, and it was incredible. It's like a fire hose going off, and it just kept going and going and going and going and going. And
wow.
Because I thought it was a friend of mine that had snuck out of the cabin to go pee, and it just kept peeing and peeing and peeing. And then it threw a 150-pound picnic table, and then threw a big rod case at the cabin. And of course, at that point, I knew it wasn't my buddy.
And it wasn't an elk.
No.
And so I thought the footprint right behind it was quite interesting too. It was more wedgy. So that was very interesting. So we actually, when we went back, because we went back the following 2 weekends and these prints were still there. So we went ahead and casted this one just because we never seen anything like it. And there's a lot of hunters in Washington State. So when we take it to a show, they look at it and say they've never seen anything like it. So it is very fascinating.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. So if you go to the next picture, okay, so a year later, we go back over to the same lake in the Cascades, and there was a thunder and lightning storm on the last night we were in camp. There's a huge torrential downpour. There was huge puddles in the morning. Tristan and Pat were with us, and they were trying to set up audio. It was just thunder and lightning and carrying on until well after midnight. In the morning, they get up and they go off to the lake, and I'm breaking camp, and shortly they come back and go, Sandy, you won't believe it. There's another butt print down there. And I'm like, you're kidding me. Of course, it's the last day. We're trying to get packed up and get out of there. But we drop everything, go down to the lake, and here's this small butt print along a creek. Not on the lake, it's on the creek. And in this mud, and you can see the ridging on the back of the buttocks. You can see the 2 thighs at the bottom of the picture with the midline in between. Now, this one did not have, did this one have this one might have had the Y ligament. Go to the next picture. Yes, it did. So this one did have the ligament. So this is the cast of that small butt print. And I don't have good pictures of it, but if you look, this is the measurement of there's 2 legs, upper thighs. There's the midline. It flattened out when it got out of the mud bog. So if you turn this over, it was going to the left this time? Flattening to the left. The rock at the top is covering its anus. And I think that's a rock. Covering its anus. It's still in the cast. And just down below that is another Y ligament. And I'm like, okay, this is fascinating. Now we've got 2 casts with these Y ligaments in the perineum. And it's fascinating to me. So you can go to the next picture. There might be a better. Oh, no, there's not. Next, not far from that small butt print that we casted was a handprint. And so we measured it, and I think Pat and Tristan, they casted it, and they have it in their collection. And what was interesting to me was the placement of the thumb. It's below the knuckles, so the thumb is much shorter than the fingers. And I thought that was a very interesting artifact. So there's the hand. And then we also, not far from there, found a 3-inch little fat baby foot in the mud. And I casted that and have that in my collection.
Oh,
and so it was a very fascinating find, a very interesting area. Enjoy going there. You have to do your homework when you're there, because there are people that will walk in the summertime there barefoot, but we don't go there in the summertime. We try to get there in the rainy season, and then we just see what they have to offer and what they have to share with us. And we've been very fortunate in this area. So let me see, is there any others? I think that's the end.
Super interesting.
Yeah, that's the last picture you got, Sandy.
Fascinating.
Great, thank you.
Fascinating.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've just kind of, you've got my whole brain just like spinning right now. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty interesting. Cool. It is very, oh, there it is. Hey, Tristan. If everybody looks at Tristan, there's that little hand cat.
Nice.
Isn't it nice?
So is that Sandy's casting?
No, that's theirs. Pat and Tristan.
Oh,
his mom.
Okay.
Can you hold it up a little more, Tristan?
Yeah.
There you go.
You got to unmute your mic, Tristan.
Yeah. It's a beautiful little handprint. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool?
It's kind of hard to do that on the camera. But
so
yeah.
How did you collect this handprint?
Well, we use Fixall. I think my mom casted this, but we use Fixall for our castings. So
yeah.
Where did you get it? What's the quick story behind the handprint?
Oh, that was the handprint that I showed in the mud.
That's what I asked.
Yeah, that's the same picture, or that's
the same print.
What was in the picture? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a small hand. It's not a real big hand, but it's.
Tristan, is the thumb opposable? Is the thumb opposable or pointed straight forward?
I mean, it looks. What's weird is it looks really close to the, close to the skin, because it doesn't look like it can move all that much compared to mine.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't look like it's at a 90-degree angle. It looks like it's pointed forward.
Yeah, it's very stubby looking. It's not like ours where you do this. So it's just odd.
Okay, so I'm still confused. Do you know Sandy, Tristan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've gone on campouts together.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
At the same lake that she's talking.
That's what I was trying to get out of you. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's just an amazing, that mud wallow. And once again, it's a tip for anybody. If there's areas like that you can find even on Google Maps, and you can go check out these areas out in the forest, and God knows what you'll find. There's no way to fake that kind of evidence.
It was very interesting when Kevin and I went back the 2 weekends after that. We actually did find along the lake water's edge, there were some prints that were faded.
Right.
And we took off our shoes and we started doing our own research on our footprints. How do our prints match up in this kind of clay mud? And as we were doing that, he came across some stick marks in the clay and freshwater shellfish shells, like clams, freshwater clams, the shells, where someone had been digging up these freshwater clams along the lake's edge and you could see the trailing stick marks as this individual, whoever it was walking along. They had a stick. And so that was an unusual find as well. And so we looked it up just to make sure that they were edible or not from the Department of Fish and Wildlife for Washington State. And because of the toxins that are in freshwater clams, they highly suggest that humans do not consume them. And so we thought that was another interesting find.
Super interesting. Yeah. Hey, John.
Yeah, you know, some insight maybe into your handprint, and it's already been alluded to. It appears as though they don't have an opposable thumb. They don't seem to have the muscle structure that supports a thumb coming back across the 4 fingers. And there was a fellow in British Columbia who was hiking up Mica Mountain to an abandoned mine shaft. And as he approached it, there were some chokecherries there, and there was a female Bigfoot stripping off the chokecherries. And his comment was her thumb was in line and on the same plane as her 4 fingers, indicating possibly a lack of an opposable thumb, which might fit into your cast.
Yeah, and I don't know how they compare. Paul Freeman, did quite a few hand casts. Go ahead, Sandy.
Oh, I was like, that is exciting.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Hey guys. So sorry to interrupt. We're coming up on 9:10.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna close out this show, and then we're gonna take a 15-minute break. We want everybody to come back. We have room for even more people, Alex.
We can handle up to 10 people.
Oh, okay. So we're good for more people for our second part here. Correct? No?
It just depends on how many people want to jump into part 2.
Oh, okay.
So
we might have but you're all invited back, and we can always kick somebody out if we have to.
We'll kick David out.
No. We won't kick David out. So I think that's a pretty cool first part 1. Some really cool new evidence I know nobody's ever seen. And to me, castings are where it's at. I mean, it's definitely where it's at, especially when you're getting things like butt prints. The biggest problem with all of this kind of evidence is we need to merge it together somehow.
Yeah.
Right.
You need to make comparisons because there's a butt print in the Skookum cast. So we need to start getting these comparatives and getting that out to the public. Because obviously you gathered a ton of evidence, Sandy.
I think we all do, and unless we collaborate, we don't know.
Right, that's
so
the key
we
word.
Have to. Yeah, we must do this.
Which is why we're doing this show.
Yeah.
Get all you guys together.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll let you close out the show. Thank you, everybody. Please join us. Take a 15-minute break and join us to show number 2. Part 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, I sent you, everyone in the stream has a link to part 2. So you're more than
and the
welcome
live
to join.
link should be right next to the other link with a countdown or something going on.
Yeah.
In YouTube, correct? Under live?
Correct.
On our channel. Okay, great. All right, close it out.
All right, guys. We'll see you in a little bit.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know